Here we are, the main force of the French occupation. We come to Mexico to take Mexico City. Here we are in the village of Puebla. What is this? Is this the Mexicans? They just asleep? Everywhere across the city, there are hundreds. What is this? You, Mexican man.
Wait.
We have come to conquer you.
¿Qué?
What are you doing?
You came during siesta time, man.
Siesta? What is this siesta?
Siesta, like in the middle of the day, we get tired. We want to take a nap or something.
You see?
Done? Can I go back to sleep? Shit.
These fools.
We
We will conquer them with ease. Come along, man.
Shut the fuck up.
Let's just walk past all of these sleeping Mexicans. Shh, don't wake them.
Surprise, maricones! We fool you!
Oh no! The Mexican, they're not asleep at all!
Pinche puto, hijo de puta!
Oh, fight them! Oh no, hey, mate! Fight them!
Fuck you up,
Oh,
bitch!
Je suis Napoleon!
This one's for the homies! Welcome back, everyone, to Delete Everything Podcast, our festive piñata full of lost, forgotten, omitted, and deleted knowledge. Grab a stick and whack away. I'm your host, Patrick Wall, and it's my fucking quinceañera. And with me, as always, the fat little idiot at my party waiting to pounce on all of my candy.
Riley Bowen.
Not even upset about it. Today we're celebrating Cinco de Mayo by talking about the Battle of Puebla, the Mexican fight for independence, the singular reason Mexico wanted to celebrate a single battle of ragtag farmers against the European colonial power, and we're getting wasted on margs all day. Woo!
Woo! Getting white girl wasted in celebration of
Cinco de
Mexican
Mayo.
independence.
Margaritas. It's not even about Mexican independence. It's a battle.
It was a
Independence
battle
happened
about,
afterward.
more of like a trade war thing, but you know how
Battle
it is.
toward independence.
Let's examine that.
We shall. Before we get started, though, quick thank you to anybody who gave us reviews or ratings this week. Those mean a lot to us. If you have not done so, please get on whatever you're streaming on, particularly Apple Podcasts. Leave us a review. Spotify, leave us a comment on the episode. If you're not on one of those, just figure out how to leave us 5 stars, because that means a lot to us. Please, and thank you. You can also join us on Instagram, where you'll find photos and videos and fun stuff correlating to all the episodes. If that's not enough for you, YouTube has got even more short videos from us just hanging out here in the studio and doing dumb stuff. And most of those come from our Patreon, which, if you're not on our Patreon yet, you should get on our Patreon. It's $8 a month, and that's, not a huge commitment. You can't go to Taco Bell on Cinco de Mayo and spend less than $8. What are you going to get for that? You're going to get a new bonus episode every week. You have not heard it yet, and you will not hear it if you're not a Patreon subscriber. And we've got a back catalog of like 80 episodes. So you have a lot of stuff that we've done that you don't even know about. You've never even heard it. If you want to, you can get on patreon.com/Delete Everything Podcast, and you can listen to, we've got 3 episodes, I believe, opened up to the public where you don't have to be a member, and you can listen to how kind of the same but kind of different it is compared to our regular show. It's a lot more unhinged. It's a lot more freeform. It's a lot more, we have a topic, but we don't really care if we go on a complete tangent or 5 off of that topic. And yeah, that's the way we do it.
Bene y vagina, everybody.
What?
That's
Peenie Vagini?
yeah.
Oh,
That's how I'm starting it, because I want to show respect to the warriors of the Battle of Puebla for speaking in their native tongue.
oh my God.
Okay, so today we're talking about the Battle of Puebla, and
Christ.
the Battle of Puebla is, for those who don't know, is what is being celebrated on Cinco de Mayo.
Yes.
It
It's
is
not Mexican Independence Day.
It is a complex. Mexican Independence Day is a different day, and it's in September 16th.
Yes.
But this is a rather complicated situation, because in order to understand why all of these white women are drinking margaritas so hard on May 5th,
You know what's crazy is this year, I believe Cinco de Mayo falls on Taco Tuesday.
What?
Yeah. It's going to be pandemonium. So many blonde white women are going to be out in droves.
Well, that's an interesting sort of take on why we want to talk about this, okay? Because, like, all right, so Cinco de Mayo is a holiday. Everybody can go out and get some fucking queso dip or whatever. It's fine. That's the American Tex-Mex bullshit version of all this sort of thing.
Yes.
It's also, I mean, like, not to knock it, it is a massive boon on Mexican-owned businesses in the year. It is like, you know, if you work or own a Mexican restaurant, Cinco de Mayo is the day. That's the big one that you fucking gear up for. If you have a shitty Cinco de Mayo, you're like, fuck, our business is in trouble this year. Like, that's going to be bad. And I've worked several different like Mexican establishments, and Cinco de Mayo's rough, but also it's fun.
You make some money.
Everybody's in a good mood because it's a very hopeful holiday. It's a very like it's a commemoration of something good, liberating.
I feel like it's the vibes, if you will, when you go out to celebrate Cinco de Mayo are like the same as going out on St. Patrick's Day.
Very much so.
We're going to go out, we're going to have fun, we're going to have some drinks.
Yeah.
We're going to get too wasted too early, and then we're going to get home and be hungover tomorrow.
It is very, very similar to like the 4th of July. You know,
also,
it's the same sort of deal. The 4th of July is a commemoration of the actual independence of the United States, but it is still like when you think about the 4th of July, what's the song? The national anthem of the United States, you know, is talking about a very specific battle,
right?
You know, and so it's the same sort of feeling of this commemoration of victory in combat.
And in Cinco de Mayo, it's that
actually is that's the La Cucaracha?
No.
El Cucaracha?
No. La Cucaracha is a different
that's
song.
La Cucaracha. Fuck, what song are you singing, are there?
I don't know what the name of it is.
Damn it. Sound ignorant. I was thinking because Pancho Villa and his Raiders, that song is about them. La Cucaracha.
La Cucaracha is about them?
Yeah, it's about Pancho Villa.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. If you say so.
What? We can get into that when we talk about...
If you queso.
Wow. We can get into that when we talk about Pancho Villa in the future, which will be fascinating.
Yeah, he's on one of our Revolutionaries episodes.
Pancho Villa is cool because he starred in a movie about himself that never got released. That's fun.
That's cool.
Yeah. But today we're talking about the Battle of Puebla. It's not about Mexican liberation so much. What it is a battle that was in the heart of a conflict based around a trade conflict. Okay?
Really?
Yes. That's what it is. Mexico.
I did not know that.
Mexico, after a certain, what they call it, the War of Reform, they cut off payment of Mexican debt. And at the time, Mexican debt was really heavy to European powers because of, let's see why, colonialism, right? So the first indigenous president of Mexico.
So the Battle of Puebla happened after Mexico was already independent?
They were still working under certain umbrellas, right? So like independence is hard. It's like saying Canada's independent, but it's still like subservient to the crown, right?
Not anymore.
But it won't. Okay, not today.
Oh, okay.
But like, like
like America was.
Yeah, well, yes, but like Canada is still technically under the British crown. Australia is still technically under the British crown, right?
No,
they are independent nations, but they are still. I mean, yeah, the fucking Queen's on their money. Like that's not just tradition.
They changed a lot of that.
I
think they recently changed the money.
They also have some geese on their money in Canada.
Yeah. They put like nature
on the loony.
They did nature shit on.
Yeah, but they also
got rid of the Queen.
There's still some Queen shit on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so to understand the Battle of Puebla, you've got to start with Mexico's chronic instability in the mid-19th century, okay? Because, like, when we talk about anything, I would say from maybe like 1500 to 1900, most of Central America is getting fucked real hard. Like, that's Mexico especially. Like, we're talking about... there's genocides, there are cultural decimation. But yeah, like Mexico would be getting fucked real hard. Also Panama and a bunch of Central American countries. Really all countries we're doing really badly in the Americas.
Okay.
You know, for the most part, if you were an indigenous person, especially. But Mexico is an interesting case. It's slightly different than the United States in the way that you would think, like, in the United States, it was pretty much just straight get the Indians out of here. You know, like all the natives, push them out, take their shit, fuck them, right?
Yeah.
In Mexico, the Spanish and French colonial powers were much more like, we can use these people as labor. There's a much more of like an indigenous...
And also take all their shit.
Look
at all this gold.
And kill the fuck out of them and rape them.
Yeah.
But like...
Jesus.
But in those powers, like the British were just like, we don't want to deal with these savages, shoot them. And then, but the French and the Spanish are like, no, we can use these people as slaves. We don't need to... We'll bring in our own slaves, sure, but we also have some built into the country,
Right.
Yeah.
Bonus
So that's
slaves.
300 years of bad shit going down that's kind of fucked with Mexico real hard. Think of that context. They won independence from Spain in 1821.
Okay.
After winning independence from Spain, Mexico spent decades lurching between competing like political visions. You've got like liberal versus conservative was a big thing.
Okay.
But in those contexts, it's very much just like, so should we have political reform on a human socialized scale,
right,
which is eventually what wins out, or should we have reform based financially on trade?
Right. Right.
So yeah, the liberal versus conservative, federalist versus centralist conflict was really, really big.
Okay.
And Mexico fought a lot because of that. Like 1821 to 1921, essentially, Mexico is in a state of almost constant civil war, strife, political intrigue. There's a lot of assassination. There's a lot. It's
right.
a very... If you're listening to this as like a United States citizen who's never thought very much about Mexico, Mexico's had a lot of shit going on for a long, long time.
It's crazy. It's like they have a whole history of their own.
An entire history. I would actually equate Mexican history very closely to like a Japanese history if Japan had been colonized. You've got the same level of empire building, the same sort of like shogunate-esque kingdom with the Aztecs.
Huh.
There's a lot of stuff that's very, very similar.
Really?
Yeah. Even the level of like
cool.
the level of like warrior training, the weapons class. You think about some of those Aztec weapons and their use of obsidian, like it wasn't just fucking like flint napping stone knives. It's like
right.
it's a fucking heavily crafted artistic process.
Yeah.
And obsidian is literally the sharpest thing that exists on Earth. Like
right.
There's nothing as sharp as that.
Right.
So imagine being hit with a club full of carefully crafted fucking obsidian blades. I mean, that's like, you could put a katana in competition with that.
Yeah.
Right.
That's cool.
By the 1850s, the varying like struggles and social conflicts and stuff, they exploded into open civil war, and that was called the Reform War. And on one side of that was you had the liberal and conservative sides. On the liberal side was a man named Benito Juarez.
Okay.
He sought to reduce the power of the Catholic Church because there was a lot of church power in Mexico after Spanish colonization.
Of course.
I mean, that's still the case. You know, like...
I mean, Mexico's still largely Catholic.
Yeah, you ever see, was that movie Coco? The underworld's Catholic as shit for some reason. But yes, Benito Juarez, he sought to reduce the power of the Catholic Church and the military and modernize the state. They're trying 1850s, they want to catch up in industrialization.
Yeah.
But also political and social reform, like all the shit that's going on in Europe. On the other side, you had a lot of conservatives, and they wanted to preserve traditional hierarchies, including the Catholic Church.
Okay.
So you could think of it as like a sectarian sort of like ideological conflict. But at the root of it, like at the root of everything else, are a lot of really poor, hungry people.
Like the Troubles.
It's very
kind of sectarian, but I mean, it was more than that.
It is very troubled.
That was the basis for it.
It's very troubled-ish in a lot of ways, because when you're looking at a country that's already won its independence, but still has multiple obligations to European powers, right? Who do you think is helping to fund the Catholic-sided conservative front?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Exactly. It's just easy peasy.
Everybody.
We're talking about
everybody who's trying to take their shit.
Yeah, everybody wants their shit. So Benito Juarez was born in Oaxaca. If you're not familiar with Oaxaca,
it's a corn song.
Huh? Is that a corn song?
No.
I thought they would have called that maize.
It's just the thing that guy says. Oh, waka, 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 waka.
Boom, Oaxaca, boom, Oaxaca. So Oaxaca is a mountainous region in Mexico, largely agrarian. Mm-hmm. You can think about it, and if I'm just assuming that anyone listening doesn't know shit about Mexico, so sorry if you're getting extra information you already know. But Oaxaca is where they produce mezcal. Mezcal is the agave spirit, very similar to tequila. Tequila has some different restrictions, yada, yada, yada. But you can think about Oaxaca in terms of like the Scottish Highlands and Lowlands, right? Like tequila would come from like the lowlands of Mexico. Mezcal comes from the highlands of Mexico. It's a much hardier sort of area, hardier people, just like more of like an agrarian rural society.
Cool.
Right? So Benito Juarez was born in Oaxaca to a rural indigenous family. He was orphaned as a child. Juarez passed into the care of his uncle, eventually moved to Oaxaca City, and he started working as like a domestic servant. Right, this is a very like classic Mexican like poor kid story. Right. He got sponsored by his employer, who was a Franciscan monk.
Okay.
And Juarez temporarily enrolled at a seminary, and he studied to become a priest. And he later switched that out to start studying law at the Institute of Science and Arts.
And this guy decided the Catholic Church needed to like not be.
Well, he was training to be a fucking
Catholic priest.
He's training to become a priest, and he's like, you know what? I don't think I like studying this shit. Can I get into the Institute of Science and Art? He became active in liberal politics, and he began to practice law. He was eventually appointed a judge.
Wow.
And, he married socially distinguished. He married into a socially distinguished family. Like, this is like a slow rise. It's a pretty dramatic story, actually, because he becomes, after the conflict in Puebla, the conflict with the French that we're about to talk about, he becomes the first indigenous president of Mexico as a whole.
Nice.
Because, previously to colonization, Mexico would have been, considered like 14 different countries,
right?
All ruled by different groups. So it wasn't until colonization that the whole vast area gets grouped into one political system.
Right.
And up until this point, it has pretty largely been Spaniards,
right,
or Mexican-born Spaniards.
Well, and I mean, at that point, they've been there for hundreds of years too, colonizing. So,
but it's still, a very racially segregated political system,
right? It's like a lot of our first. I mean, what was it? Van Buren, who was our 8th, I believe, president.
Yep,
8th or 9th.
Sideburns.
Yeah, sideburns. Yeah, Sly Fox.
Was he the little magician? No,
yeah.
The little magician.
He was the first American-born president.
Right. Yeah, if you guys think that it's weird that it took hundreds of years for an indigenous Mexican to actually become president of Mexico, think of how many indigenous North Americans have been president of the United States.
That's going to be a 0.
That will be 0. In fact, none are running. None are allowed to run. No one gives a fuck.
Yeah,
okay,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, who's the closest we got? No, there isn't one. There's no closest. Kamala Harris maybe running, I guess.
My God.
Like, fucking, what are we?
I'm trying to think of which president seems like the one who would be the most likely to be like, yeah, I'm 1/16th Cherokee.
It'd be Jimmy Carter. Probably.
Jimmy Carter?
Well, but he wouldn't do it in a weird way. He'd be like, yeah, well, we've got some.
I was thinking like Nixon.
Carter'd be like, yeah, we got some native in there somewhere, but we're all just people, like.
Have a peanut.
Have a peanut. I had to buy these. I had to give my farm away.
Do you know that he is one of the only presidents in the last like 100 years? I'm trying to think of how far.
You're right. He is one of the only presidents in the past 100 years.
No. I'm trying to think of how far back the chart that I saw went. It went back, maybe not 100 years, probably about 80 something years. The only president whose net worth went down.
Yeah. He gave away his peanut farm. He had to sell his peanut farm.
He had less net worth when he got done being president.
Yeah.
Than.
Because he never took a raise or any shit like that. He was already a wealthy farmer. He did fine in Georgia.
Yeah.
And then he sold that shit off so that he could be president, didn't do anything to get a raise as president, and then left after one term.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good guy. I like that guy.
I like Jimmy Carter.
R.I.P. But
Anyway, so Juarez was eventually elected governor of Oaxaca. I mean, which is pretty cool, going from just like fucking barefoot agrarian orphan to eventually becoming governor. And he became involved in national politics following the ousting and exile of Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna, who
he was a general.
No, that Santa Anna is a different Santa Anna. We're talking about Antonio Lopez Santa Anna. This guy,
Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna.
Antonio de Padua Maria Severino Lopez de Santa Anna y Perez de Lebrón, who was born in 1974. Shit. He's often known just as Santa Anna. Fuck, you're right. This was the Mexican general.
Same guy, right? Yeah.
Same guy. My bad. I was looking more at his political career.
It's okay.
But he also served as the 8th president of Mexico.
Listen, the Latin genetics flow through me. I know these things.
Yes. Okay.
Mexican history. I don't know Mexican history for shit. I'll be honest with you.
He served as the 8th president of Mexico on multiple occasions between 1833 and 1855 as fucking political shifts and rivalries and things would oust him, and then he would win it back with his political influence and general abilities. Yeah, so he served as vice president of Mexico from 37 to 39. Controversial and pivotal figure in Mexican politics during the 19th century, to the point that he has been called an uncrowned monarch. And historians often refer to the 3 decades after Mexican independence as the Age of Santa Anna.
Really?
Which is very interesting because in a minute we're going to talk about Napoleon III, who was running France at the time. He's also, so we're talking about the uncrowned monarch and the Age of Santa Anna. Napoleon III is often referred to as the last monarch of France.
Okay.
And the age of Napoleon III ranges like 35 years too. So these sort of like unsteady piece that Santa Anna manages to sort of like put together with this other, monarchistic long-ranging entity in France.
Napoleon.
After his death, things start fucking... It's not Napoleon Bonaparte. This guy's called Napoleon III.
Okay.
Napoleon III, think of like more of a like a Victorian era France,
Right.
So a lot more modernistic fashions. After
he was the son of Napoleon Bonaparte.
Yes.
Okay.
Or no, it's Napoleon III. He was the grandson of Napoleon.
No,
none. He's a different guy.
Hold up. Napoleon's nephew.
That makes more sense.
Napoleon the First's nephew.
Anyway, so following the ousting and exile of Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna in the Plan of Ayutla, which is complicated, the new president, Juan Alvarez, appointed a liberal cabinet that included Juarez as Minister of Justice, right? Benito Juarez was instrumental in passing a lot of stuff. The Juarez Law is one. It's part of a broader program of constitutional reforms known as La Reforma, or the Reform. And as head of the Supreme Court, he succeeded to the presidency upon the resignation of the liberal president, Ignacio Comonfort.
Interesting.
Yes. All of that is just to say, like, this isn't a big political figure in general.
Shit is typically politically all over the place in a country when you see presidential resignation.
Yes. And it's even more all over the place when you've got multiple forms of civil war. So like,
right.
In saying that one person is the president here, there may have been a different president in a different region fighting a different side of this. I was about to say,
it is also the...
narrative through lines with this come from victories.
It is also the symptom of coming to an area as a colonizer, and an area that had several tribes doing their own shit, blah, 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 and the same thing happened in the U.S. And then you come in and you go, and by the way, all over the world, it's not just the U.S. and Mexico. And you come over and you stay for a few hundred years, and then you go, okay, this is all one thing.
Right.
This is all Mexico.
Dude, it's like when we think of in this area of Florida.
You come in and you colonize all these tribes, and you set your own borders, overriding what's been that way for thousands of years. And then when they finally kick you out, those borders stay there, and the main quote unquote enemy that they want out is gone. But then once they're gone, that headbutting between those tribes that a few hundred years ago had their own areas and are now sort of all in one area, that comes back pretty quick.
Yeah, it's not as though the conflicts between the tribes, if they existed, are just gone because of a different political system. Look at like the fucking...
No, they resurface immediately when you get the person that's had you under the boot out. Then it's like, okay, well, now we want our shit back.
Look at like the Hutu and the Tutsi in Rwanda, right? Like, yeah, they were in Rwanda. They were technically all of one people under one government.
Yeah, and
then through tribal affiliation, eventually they led to a whole political massacre.
Look at Iran.
Look at Iran. Look, yeah.
You've got the Persians in the north, you got the Houthis, and you've got all these different what used to be tribes, and now you just kind of go, you're one country.
Which I think is, again, this is all very fascinating stuff. It's like if you look at in Florida, Juan Ponce de Leon discovers Florida, right? And then we install Pedro Menendez as the first governor, right? And his official title in the history that we are taught is the first governor of the United States, or the first governor of Florida, right? There were tribes in Florida that didn't even know the Spanish had landed until well after this motherfucker was dead. Like we're talking like 50 years after he was dead.
And the first European governor, because they had for thousands of years people who were in charge of tribes and ways of establishing rules and law and all these things.
Let's also point out that the French carved out quite a fucking chunk of Florida for themselves and had their own governors. You know, like history, when they say history is written by the victors, it's more than that. It's the narrative is guided by victories,
right?
You know, so you can even say, like, if you are the victor in a conflict, you can look back and be like, yes, of course, this was their history, and that was very, like, to the vanquished, be like, okay, so they did these things, but you still get to say what it is they did. You know?
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, the reality is, like, I've always thought that line was bullshit anyway, because history is very subjective.
Yeah,
like, you know, just because you think that you established this thing, and, you know, like, there's another side to that. You know, there are those native tribes that were on the other side that had no fucking idea for however many years, and then suddenly they're like, you're the who? What?
Yeah, they come in like, yeah, we own this country. And they're like, country? You mean the endless swamp? The fuck are you talking about? Like, I've only heard legends of the coast. What the fuck are you? You're saying, okay, so you found the shellfish people in another world?
Right.
I don't know what the fuck you're saying.
Some tribe in fucking Kansas.
Yeah, like, what the fuck are you saying?
Dead in the middle, and they're like, what, huh?
Huh?
What?
We come from the stars. Do you know the like the Roman it's a saying. This is a saying. Ve victis.
Okay.
Ve victis means woe to the vanquished.
Okay.
And it was just like, it was sort of like a Latin motto for when Caesar was like sweeping through Europe and like knocking shit down. But it was also a rationale, kind of like manifest destiny, right?
Okay.
Manifest destiny is like, we have the right to do this because destiny dictates it, right?
God has told us it's our destiny.
Ve victis is like, yes, we can kill them and we can slaughter them and subjugate them because we did. And you know what? Woe to the vanquished.
Tail wags the dog, I guess.
It's like, is what it is. It happened because it happened, you know?
Yeah. Jesus
I've always
Christ.
liked that.
It's okay because we've already done it.
Yeah, just a weird kind of like back and forth. Like, I mean, I'll get back to Mexico in a second.
It's a really back asswards way of like.
Yeah, it's justifying the means justify the ends.
Of course, it was
right?
fine for me to rob that bank. I already did. Look at all this money I got.
I got away with it. Sorry to the bank,
officer.
Woe to the vanquished.
The vanquished is nice. Good job.
Yeah, there's this great story of like somebody pulling a Ve Victis on a Germanic tribe, and literally saying Ve Victis to them in their face while they're like slaughtering their women and children.
Oh, great, cool.
And the leader of that tribe comes back, actually invades Rome, and is like fucking standing over a Roman senator that had said that shit to him with a fucking sword with blood on it, and he says Ve Victis to him while he fucking chops at him.
Jesus.
That's a cool story. I want to find the details on that, but that's a good one. Cool. Okay. Coming back to Mexico. So you had Benito Juarez on one side of this conflict in this civil war that we're talking about, right? So Benito Juarez sought to reduce the power of the Catholic Church and the military, and he wanted to modernize the state. And on the other side, you had conservatives who wanted to preserve the traditional hierarchies, like the monarchistic stuff, essentially the colonial religious hierarchies.
Bootlickers.
Yes, a bunch of bootlicking ass bitches.
Nah. What's
your new catchphrase? Pat's got a new catchphrase. He's workshopping.
Nope.
Come on, just real quick. Because mine, everyone knows, is Peeny Vagini. Pene Vagin.
I walked into the studio today, and Riley was the only one in here. And I opened up the door, and I walked in, and I said, "Man, fuck that old dumbass bitch." About no one in particular. And he goes, "Is that your catchphrase?" And I was like, "It could be.
It could be. I think it has to be now." I think that's what we're working with.
So if you guys hear me say again, "Man, fuck that old dumbass bitch," that's just me doing my catchphrase.
Oh, fuck. I'm jealous. I set up my catchphrase on the first day, you really waited. You waited until almost 100 episodes.
Almost 100 episodes in, and I was like, it's time.
Okay, so in this conflict, the liberals ended up winning.
Okay.
Which is surprising since they're all a bunch of weak-willed, weak-armed, no sports playing painters and, I don't know, gay beat poets or something, right?
Yeah, okay.
What did they win? A participation trophy? Anyway, so the victory came at like a huge cost, though, and Mexico was financially devastated. Which makes sense because the liberal over the conservative party, a lot of the conservatives were the wealthy party, right? So,
right.
It's the classic eat the rich scenario. You fucking, okay, so we took them down, but now who's gonna pay for stuff, right?
Now we have some really solid ideas, but we have no idea.
We got good people, good ideas, and no shoes.
Right. That is the problem with that sort of.
Yeah.
That's why everyone should learn how to fish.
That singular dichotomy.
The government was deeply in debt to European powers, particularly France and Spain and the United Kingdom. And in 1861, Benito Juarez made a very fateful decision, and he suspended payments on foreign debt. His rationale is pretty specific. It's like, we're a new government. We're a new people. Like, I am the first indigenous president of this country as a whole. I'm saying, as that, eat my ass.
Yeah,
okay?
y'all can wait.
You can lick my boner.
Did he suspend it indefinitely?
It was a temporary suspension.
Yeah, so he said, fuck you, we got shit to figure out, you can wait.
That's tantamount to sending them a box full of fucking bird bones and being like, here's your payment, bitch.
Yeah,
he's saying suck my ass to the strongest colonial powers on the other side.
100%.
Right?
100%.
Which is ballsy. It's a ballsy ass fucking move, you know? It was kind of like also, it was a defensive move on one hand, but it also was sort of out of his hands because Mexico didn't have shit to pay with. So he comes forth with this like, hey, we're going to have to push off the debt a little bit.
Yeah.
Let us make some stuff, build up some stores.
Sure.
We'll pay with you. And this triggered pretty serious international consequences. At first, the response was like multinational. Spain and Britain and France, they sent naval forces to Veracruz to pressure Mexico into repayment.
Okay.
Like they immediately fucking send the ships.
Right.
Go take their shit.
Okay.
And Mexico's like, we don't have shit. You took all of our shit.
Yeah.
Our cultures are decimated. Our temples are pillaged.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we going to give you?
Hey, remember when you guys got here and all of our temples were gilded and there was just...
Remember all that gold?
Yeah.
Remember all that gold? We had so much gold.
Yeah,
so much gold that you were like, wow, they have so much gold. And then remember you took it all?
Yeah. You should go ask the Pope for some.
We don't have that
Remember
now.
when you took it all to the Pope? Yeah, you should go to Rome and ask him.
So Britain and Spain wanted repayment and stability on like a payment plan. But France, under Napoleon III, we just talked about Napoleon's nephew.
Napoleon Bonaparte's nephew. Yes.
He had very different ambitions. Now let's talk about Napoleon III for a quick second here, okay?
Poncy French little bitch.
He was born Charles Louis Napoleon Bonaparte in 1808. He died in 1873. So he's getting up there in years by the time we're in this conflict, generally.
More like Napoleon Boner, please.
Bones apart. But he was president of France from 1848 to 1852, and then Emperor of the French from 1852 until his deposition in 1870.
Emperor of the French.
Emperor of the French.
Wow.
Until he was deposed 3 years before his death.
How pretentious.
Yeah, right? This is the last emperor, we remember, to be Charlemagne, right? It was quite some time ago.
Napoleon Bonaparte, the Napoleon Bonaparte, considered himself the Emperor of France.
That also, but yes, but like he considered himself the Emperor of France, but that was a very, not pernicious, like it was a prickly position to be in. You know, one, because it didn't last particularly long. Two, even the people that put him there were like, Emperor, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, like, no, dude, no. But he declared himself emperor, essentially.
I mean, honestly, what's the distinction between king and emperor?
The spelling is a big deal.
Yeah.
Also, emperors have range over the entire earth.
You have an empire.
Yeah, exactly.
At that point, France didn't have an empire. I'm pretty sure France's borders were pretty close to what they are today.
Yeah, France hasn't fluctuated much at all.
Yeah. Well, just between them and the English.
Except for, talking about like Jamaica and shit like that. Like fucking they're empirical.
No, Jamaica was England. Haiti was France.
You sure that Jamaica was England?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit. My bad.
Yeah. That's why so many Irish... that's why the Jamaican accent and the Irish accent are so similar.
Yeah, I'm thinking Haiti. Anyway.
Yeah. Haiti was France. There were some other Caribbean islands that were French that I cannot think of.
But yeah, as an emperor, you have like a duty to expand your empire. A king can just be like, yes, I'm the king of Guam and I'm going to stay here.
Right.
This is my people and this is where we are. But then an emperor is like, yes, this is where we are right now.
But the empire shall continue.
The empire shall live on.
Wait, the empire shall continue to grow.
What's that? The sun never shits on the British Empire. So he created. So Napoleon III was the first president, second emperor, and last monarch of France. He was the last person to hold a
lot of titles,
monarchical position. I think.
A lot of ribbons on the lapel.
I think The Last Monarch is a cool title for like a movie or something, you know?
Yeah. I feel like it's already a movie.
There's The Last Emperor.
The Last Mohican.
Which we talked about. Last Mohican is very different.
That was Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yes.
You know, Mohican.
It's a great movie.
It was an actual like movie. It wasn't like one of those
What?
You know, like when Roots first
flip books.
When Roots
like a limited
first,
series.
It was like a series that came out.
Les Mohicans is a fucking movie. Michael Mann from Heat directed it.
There was another
Daniel Day-Lewis, Wes Studi.
There was another thing that came out around that time that I want to say had something to do with Native Americans. That was like a mini series.
I'm
like
sure.
on
Yeah,
TV.
yeah. But that, I mean, we're talking about like
was.
1993 or something. Like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Early.
I'm sure
90s.
there was a bunch of shit like that all the time. I don't know if you remember.
Sci-fi miniseries Dune.
Yeah, from the sci-fi
the
channel.
90s, late 90s, early 2000s.
That's actually a pretty good series. That was like closest to the book that we've gotten, but it got weird in the like
I think
children.
the new
of Dune
one's
and shit.
closer.
It is. It's cool.
Yeah,
the
I think
new
it's
one's
closer
cool,
and it's not cheesy.
What was I saying? Yeah, I don't know if you remember, but in the 1990s, like colonial Americana was all the rage for some fucking reason. I think it was because.
Oh, you're talking about in like pop culture. Yeah,
in like pop culture in America.
Yes.
I think it was just like part of the, I don't know, historical branding that we were going through. Like it was very like inaccurate shit we were being taught in school, which incidentally is a driving factor beyond creating this podcast.
That's true.
So Napoleon Bonaparte's Napoleon III, he created the Second French Empire in 1852, and this period saw really rapid industrialization in France and rapid expansion of infrastructure, the rise of French influence in world politics after several decades of instability.
Okay.
He's the son of Louis Bonaparte, King of Holland. So he was his dad was already
Jesus
a king,
Christ.
and now he's the king of France. He's the nephew of Napoleon. Oh, I guess fucking emperor of the French. Yeah, okay. So it's not
I
as
can't
contextual.
keep up because there was a time when part of like
This shit's all
part of the
complicated in her
Netherlands
piss.
was part of Spain, and Spain and the Netherlands had a whole
So
fucking thing.
he was
Now
the head of-
French are there.
He was the head of state in France for 22 years, and he was the longest reigning French head of state since the end of the Ancien Régime.
Sure.
This is the ancient regime.
Regime.
Which would be where you find like fucking Charlemagne and shit like that.
Okay.
Not to be confused with Kid Charlemagne, the Steely Dan song.
Or Charlemagne the God, radio host.
Don't you realize you are a champion? You know that one?
Probably.
That's a good song. Anyway, so like Napoleon III, he didn't just have his eye on like, hey, we need to keep the status quo. He's like, I am the new sun god.
Oh, Jesus.
Everyone will be owned by the French. Napoleon III
That always
envisioned,
works out well.
he envisioned creating a French-aligned empire in the Americas. You know, he's like, okay, you got these British motherfuckers up there. I'm going to do the French one here,
Okay.
right? He wanted to exploit the weaknesses of Mexico and the distraction of the United States. Because that America in the 1800s was doing some other shit up there.
Yeah. Yeah, there was.
yeah.
What part of the 1800s are we in? 1840s?
Let's see. The Battle of Puebla is happening
18.
in 1862. Anything
Oh.
going on in America, the United States, that might be a mild distraction.
Yeah, there's some stuff. Definitely not going to get any help out of the United States.
So after negotiations, it was called the Convention of the Soledad, not to be confused with Day of the Soledad, which is the tagline for a Benicio del Toro movie.
Or news anchor Soledad O'Brien.
Britain and Spain withdrew when they realized that France intended full-scale balls-deep conquest.
Really?
Yeah. France stayed and escalated the shit out of it. Britain and Spain both went like, dude, whatever. Fucking what? It's Mexico.
We already did
They
this
literally
shit.
were like, it's fucking, we don't need Mexico. We took their shit.
Yeah.
So what are you going to grow agave? The fuck?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like they, and of course that's like I'm being mocking in there saying that because Mexico has plenty of agricultural power and all sorts of the ability to industrialize everything.
Sure.
If, like you fucking do it right.
Yeah.
But at the time,
They've
after
got oil, they've got gold,
they
they've
got all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
Mexico's cool, but like
Big ass country.
big fucking country, right? So, but from the colonial perspective, they're like, ugh.
Especially compared to France, Spain, and England.
So you
Huge.
think like the King of England is like Mexico, sombrero, taco, leave them to their sand, right? You can have it, France, you fool.
Do you know the history of the taco? Very briefly.
I mean, like, I'm trying to think of like a specific thing, but I'm also like, I mean, it's a flatbread sandwich.
It's so you may or may not know that Spain, the Iberian Peninsula, Spain and Portugal were both colonized by the Moors of North Africa for 600 years, something like that.
Jeez, I had no idea.
Yeah. So the Moors held the Iberian Peninsula for like 600 years. So
Starting from when?
early CE.
No shit.
Yeah. They were up there. Yeah, so there's a lot of Spanish and Portuguese words that are very similar to a lot of Islamic words because the Moors were Islamic. So by the time the Spanish conquistadors came over to the New World, they were, those Moors had basically integrated. That's why the language reflects a lot of like Islamic shit and it's very homogenous, right? They came across and they were used to like the Islamic flatbread.
Right.
And so they came over and they were like, make us this.
Make us pita?
Yeah, essentially. And the natives in Mexico were like, well, we don't have and they were like, fucking make it or I'll cut your fucking fingers off or whatever, however they did it. And so they ended up figuring out how to make it out of corn. And that's how they made tortillas, and that's where the taco came from.
Interesting.
Cool, huh?
That is cool. That's interesting. I don't know how I have that blind spot.
A flatbread with meat and vegetables in it, and that's
the whole point of this fucking podcast has always been like try to fill the gaps in historical knowledge that we have and talk about like new shit that we're discovering, right? Fucking, I of course knew that like there's a whole thing about Eric the Red and Leif Erikson and Vikings colonizing North America long before the Europeans got there. It never fucking occurred to me that Africans would have gotten to South America, and that has never been taught to me in any way. It would make sense that you might know because you've been to South America 400 times.
So the cultural aspect of it via the Spaniards, yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
The Moors colonized the Iberian Peninsula for 600. How many generations is that? You have to think 600 years. I mean,
thinking of life expectancy, really 14, 15 generations.
This country is fucking 250 years old.
Yeah, we got three or four generations pretty much.
Yeah.
That's not really true.
No, a generation's
only 20 years, right?
Yeah.
I always think of like life expectancy of a human being, right? So like 2025, I'm like, yeah, we got fucking 600. That's a fucking lot, dude.
Yeah. That's like 24 generations.
Damn.
So at that point, everything, like I said, becomes homogenized. Everything is there are cultural things that just sort of end up mishmashing. And so that's like,
nature.
There are a ton of Portuguese words and Spanish words, but I mean, obviously I sort of default to the Portuguese. Algodão is cotton. Any word that starts with al, that's a fucking Islamic word.
Wow.
Think about how many Islamic words are like al dash something. Like there are a shitload. And by the way, if you go to Portugal,
Jazeera.
If you go to Portugal, there is a ton of architecture and stuff like that from that era, and it's all Northern African Moorish architecture.
That's really fascinating. I want
very
to
cool.
see that a lot.
It's very cool.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. I want to see that shit.
I've been. It's rad as fuck. I'll show you some photos.
Rad. I like to learn. I like to learn history.
These are and to your point, this is part of why we started this podcast, is because there are so many blind spots where we know pieces of the puzzle, but when you start to really get into it, like the interconnection is so much deeper, and it's like, oh, you find out why these little cultural aspects of all these different places and all these different people over the course of centuries and centuries. And you start to plug in little pieces where you're like, oh shit, everything is sort of interconnected. Every little action has a consequence, and those consequences sometimes really stand the test of time.
And I mean, like, I always fall back to different realizations about like the passage of time. A lot of my solo travel across the country the past some odd years, like I've had a lot of time like thinking and reflecting. I oftentimes think about like the nature that we're driving through. You're really upset about the decimation of nature.
Yes.
And then it always strikes me as like, this is the same trees and rocks and mountain formations that ancient cultures walked through.
Yeah.
And then I start thinking about like, well, we're not even walking on their bones. It's like, these are all organic, like, consequences of people living in a place. After a while, like you become an ancient culture yourself. Like we've got connections to anyone who ever lived in the United States. It's the woven tapestry of time and
humanity
and boners.
Time and boners.
Time and boners.
Band name. TIMIN.
Time
apostrophe.
Time and boners.
So when you take a Viagra, you're like, let's see how long this takes.
Yeah, no, I think about it all the time. I think about like fucking the how everything is so interconnected. It's insane. It's ridiculous. Where everything's built on top of everything. You know, it's like we've always been here. We're a part of like a grander tradition of like culture. It's really fucking
and it's unfortunate,
crazy to the point that it makes my head hurt to think about it too much.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that there's not more of an emphasis on people learning this stuff because learning this stuff really is important moving forward because having context is fucking important. When you make a mistake, you know, like in work, you know, like if I do something stupid and I fuck up a job, that is the best way to learn anything.
Yeah.
Failure is the best teacher.
So you're not going to lose that finger again.
Right. And so, you know, I think the same stands with like in terms of history is like, you have to know where the dumb mistakes got made. You have to know where the smart things happen. You have to know all these things to be able to usher humanity forward into the future in a safe and sustainable way.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is, I mean, I think we're going through some problems.
Sounds like liberal bullshit.
It sounds like liberal bullshit because we're going through some problems right now.
Get your nut and die and forget everybody else.
I will say, I mean, like generally not pointing any fingers to any particular dickholes. We live in the United States right now. We're living in a culture that is very impermanent and thinks specifically about this moment and doesn't build to the future or from the past. It's fucking weird. It's bizarre. Like just living in Florida, watching the fucking clear cutting of all this like ancient jungle is.
I have a great story about that. I have a funny story about that because that upsets the shit out of me.
It's very upsetting. It's upsetting, like to the point of like Avatar style. Yeah. I've been driving places where there's like a nice patch of nature I quite like, and I'll be driving, and all of a sudden it's gone.
Yeah,
it's just clear cut, and all the trees are in a pile on fire.
So, I work as
right here on 4 Mile, actually.
Yeah, I work as a project manager for a large commercial concrete company. One of the guys on my crew, I typically pick up and drop off. And he doesn't have the same education level or the same, you know, there are a lot of things. I'm getting him there. I'm getting him there because we have he likes that I have real deep conversations with him because he's never really had that. But we were driving back from a big job where we poured a whole fuck ton of concrete. On the way back along the main drag here, US 1, we literally passed a whole area where they were clear cutting all these fucking trees. I mean, acres and acres of trees. And like I said, that it is upsetting. And I was like,
I can certainly understand like lumberjack stuff, but that's slightly more selective. We're talking about like scorched earth, like nothing. It will take 100 years for anything to grow there again.
Every job site we have is just clear cut acres of land and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, I looked at it and I was like, man, that fucking sucks, dude. Like, I hate seeing that. These fucking people need to stop moving here. Like, it's just, you know, what are you gonna build there? Is every single home sold? Why do we need to keep doing this?
It's not, dude. That's the secret. I don't think anyone's even really moving here.
I don't know.
I'm serious. When was the last time you met new people?
Like, I don't know. I don't go out much, but
people are fucking. We're building shit in Florida constantly. I haven't met any transplants lately.
Yeah,
in like a while.
I don't know, but his response was, well, yeah, that's job security. We're going to pave all that. And I was like, God damn it. I fucking hate that. Yeah. I legitimately was like, now I want to quit my job. Yeah. Like immediately, like, well, now I want to quit.
Yeah. Great. And then we also got to survive it's tough.
Yeah, exactly. That's tough. What I'm saying is now all of a sudden I'm looking at it through the lens of like, yeah, this is what I do to make my money, and the money is good. And so like, where do my convictions lie when contrasted against what I need to do to live?
At a certain point, your convictions lie with survival. That's just kind of where it is.
Yeah.
I think I did a whole rant on this the last episode, so I think everybody knows where I stand on my particular like ability to survive in my job market right now.
I stayed kind of quiet, but I was cheering you on the whole time, bud.
So anyway, let's talk about the Civil War.
The American or the Mexican?
The Mexican one, where they kill a bunch of wealthy elite people. So after the Convention of the Soledad, Britain and Spain withdraw. France is going to go hard. And the French Expeditionary Force landed at Veracruz, so 1860, wherever the fuck I just said. The Puebla one. What did I say? 1862? Is that what I gotta look back at my notes?
The Battle of Puebla was 1862 is what you said, yes.
Yes. So they land in 1862.
Mm-hmm.
They land in Veracruz, and they're marching inland to Puebla, or to Mexico City, and their path leads through Puebla, which is a strategically important city located about 70 miles southeast of the capital.
Okay.
This is a little bit of a Gettysburg.
Okay.
You know, because have you ever been to Gettysburg?
I have not, actually.
Gettysburg is shockingly close to Washington, D.C. And
really?
the main impetus behind the Battle of Gettysburg is the South was getting close to Washington.
Okay.
That's the thing. So the Battle of Puebla is very much like they're storming the capital. They're going hard at it real fast. And we are looking at a very impoverished populace who is being invaded by a very wealthy, modernized military.
Right.
Right? If anybody listening is in the United States, you might contemplate that a little bit. I feel like we've been through that ourselves in the Revolutionary War. And then have also been on the other side multiple times. The industrialized modern military versus the partisan, you know?
Right.
So their path leads through Puebla. The Mexican army is really fucked up from the Civil War. Like, really fucked up.
Still,
yeah. We're still like maybe
40 years.
It's like 40 years of what? You know, we're
fair.
Differential factions, just fucking poverty in general. And they just went through the War of Reform, which is what got our guy Benito Juarez into power, and then he declares the fucking like we're done here.
We're done paying you guys for.
We're done paying you for a while. Right. So the country is not fucking so hot. They're not doing well. Like we're talking to the point of no shoes. You know, they're still using black powder rifles.
Okay.
You know, they've got fucking holdover weapons. You know, they don't even really have that much ammunition. Like they're kind of like, okay, so we've finished fighting, and now we can restock a little bit.
We need to focus on shoes.
We're broke, yeah. But they have to prepare to resist this French incursion, right? Command of Mexican forces falls to a man named Ignacio Zaragoza, who's a relatively young and capable leader.
Okay.
You know, he's been through the War of Reform, but he's still like, you wouldn't call him untested, but he hasn't been through full-scale conflict with a modernistic army like this. He's been fighting Mexican skirmishes.
Okay.
The French force is considered one of the finest in the entire world. The general's name was Charles de Lorence. They had about 6,000 to 6,500 soldiers in this expeditionary force. We're talking professional infantry, professional artillery, elite units, like fucking French Foreign Legion guys are there with them.
Right.
You know, which is the Navy SEALs at the time.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
They've got superior training. They've got better equipment. Their combat experience in Europe and other colonial wars. I
mean, if they've got artillery, that alone is just...
Yes. Whereas the Mexicans on holdover had like smooth bore cannon still.
Jesus.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Lorence reportedly believed the Mexicans would be easily defeated. He allegedly declared that French soldiers were the finest in the world.
Okay.
So it's a little bit of a, the 300. What's that? The
Battle of Thermopylae.
Thermopylae. I was thinking Tripoli. That's not. Yeah, there's a little bit of the Thermopylae thing going on.
You're still in
here.
France.
Yeah. Mexican forces are way less impressive. Ignacio Zaragoza's got about 4,000 soldiers, which are a mix of regular troops, militia, and just poorly equipped volunteers. Like machetes and shit.
Jesus.
But they do have in Puebla defensive positioning and like knowledge of the terrain, you know, like any guerrilla warfare.
Sure.
But they also have really high morale because this is like yeah, we could take them.
It's a battle of destiny.
It's a battle of destiny. Exactly. Like they fucking, we declare we won. We are a singular people finally.
Right.
You know, and now nobody's going to beat us. Right.
Okay.
Zaragoza positions his troops around two fortified hills outside of Puebla, Fort Loreto and Fort Guadalupe. And they became the anchors of the Mexican defense.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So the battle begins on May 5th, 1865, or Cinco de Mayo. So before the battle, they all mix up some margaritas They get their pina coladas and their burrito on, you know, and everybody puts on big fake mustaches and sombreros.
As one does.
You know. Laurentier, the French general, Laurentier chose a direct frontal assault on the Mexican position. He didn't give a fuck.
Dumb
Like, you know what?
asshole.
Let's just fucking do this shit.
You know what? Sometimes that's because I was thinking to myself when I said the thing about the French artillery. I was like, that's the kind of like difference in power, and it's kind of the same thing with the American Revolutionary War. It's almost easy to get cocky and go, look at everything I've got.
Dude, that's always it. That's fucking Red Dawn. It's just like, we've got everything, they've got nothing.
Yeah.
You know, all it takes is one smart person to land the right blow, and you can fucking blow any defense apart.
Yep.
You know? So the French begin their assault, just full frontal fucking assault. They're targeting the forts.
Okay.
Right? Which is like interesting because, you know, I think about it like this. They've got these two forts that are sort of like opposite ends of the city of Puebla, right? Or the town of Puebla, really. And the French forces want to go through that town to Mexico City, but they're so fucking cocky. They're like, hey, we're going to take these two military forts on our way for funsies.
For nothing. Yeah. For no strategic value, just
for funsies.
Just to show you what we can do.
Yeah. This decision has been often criticized as overly confident, tactically unsound.
Right.
So the French are
tactically unnecessary. It sounds
extremely so, but it's like, fuck these assholes. Right? Stupid forts.
That's the hubris that comes with.
Exactly. Also,
having this big fighting force and going, look at these peasants.
It occurs to me that there is a bit of a bloodwetting that troops kind of need when they're being deployed for active combat. You know what I mean? Like, specifically, I mean, like, it's like more like in Viking forces, but generally, if you've got an entire, you know, fighting force of thousands of men who are ramped up to fight and kill, or even die for whatever their absurd cause is, you know, like, the longer
you gotta give them a nice little,
you gotta let them fucking kill some people, because the longer that they don't get that, the weirder it'll get, the harder they'll be to control, the morale will shift, you know.
Right.
But if you like land and immediately they get to go in and wipe out like a small fighting force or a civilian populace, or you know,
rape some women,
exactly,
and kill some children,
whatever horrifying thing you've got to do, that'll get morale up. You know, plus side benefit gets maybe a few of them killed, so that their friends rally around that idea, and now they hate the enemy in a more personal level. Right?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, this is fucking. I think that's like Sun Tzu ass art of war shit. Like, you got to lose some people to really up your fighting force.
To rally your troops.
Yeah, the sacrificial culling. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So the French artillery opens fire, but the bombardment was less effective than expected due to the elevated defensive positions, because both of these forts are on the high ground.
Are up on. Okay.
Right?
Okay.
The French infantry launched repeated uphill attacks against Fort Guadalupe, and each assault followed a really similar pattern. They advanced under fire. They attempt to scale defensive positions. They encounter intense resistance from the cornered and angry denizens. Yeah. Right? And then they retreat with casualties. Mexican forces, though less trained, held firm. I mean, maybe because they were in a fucking fort. Their elevated position,
they had nowhere to go.
Their elevated position gave them a decisive defensive advantage. Mexican cavalry units, including irregular forces like just fucking farmers with horses, they played a key role. They harassed French flanks. They exploited moments of disorder. And this is a lot like, the stories of the American Revolution, British forces walking in single file order. Yeah. And then like fucking, who's that guy? Francis Marion, Swamp Fox and his men like jumping out of trees,
full blown guerrilla warfare.
Yeah, just guerrilla warfare, just taking them out of the sides that they are not prepared for at all.
Yeah, because they're marching single file with fucking.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, where is our flautist? Where's the drummer? Put them up front.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
so the other forces know we're coming.
The idea that. I mean, honestly, probably one of the reasons we won the American Revolution was based on the idea that the British soldiers were not trained in how to just fight and kill in a field.
No, they were trained in the art of gentlemanly warfare,
which is dumb.
Which is really dumb, because when you're killing people, also there's nothing gentlemanly about it.
Yeah, a bit of a non sequitur there, you know. So yeah, so like, you know, you got Mexican horse units just riding around taking pot shots with their fucking muskets.
Hell yeah.
You know?
That's cool as fuck.
Yeah, they're just like fucking just hitting these forces because the French are still doing the gentlemanly warfare thing too. And it's a little more, more on the we don't have to follow these rules because these are savages sort of angle. But
it is crazy that they're still doing that. Literally, fucking almost 100 years after the Revolutionary War, when pretty much the world found out, like, hey, these motherfuckers,
they don't turn so good.
Are not. These motherfuckers are not above climbing up in trees and surrounding our loud, bright asses.
Well, I mean, that's always there is a certain level of grace, I think, given to an occupied populace in terms of savagery, if that makes sense. Like, look at like the Vietnamese in the Vietnam War. I don't think that the Vietnamese particularly liked digging holes and living in tunnels,
tiger traps,
and fucking rubbing shit on spikes and living in trees and shit like that. I don't think they enjoyed that, but
I doubt it.
They also didn't like being murdered, so they're like, well, maybe we should shit on some spikes and fucking drop them into it. You know, like
maybe we should have little trapdoors we can hop out of.
Yeah, let's
shoot motherfuckers.
Let's use
and then
literally
hop right
everything we can think of to our advantage. You know,
legit.
I mean, yeah. Because if you didn't start the fire, you got to put it out somehow. I guess.
What's the other alternative?
Yeah,
die.
Yeah, that is literally the other alternative.
Yeah.
If you want to live, you got to fight, and if you want to fight, you got to fight dirty. I guess, you know.
Well, against this particular fighting force, 100%.
And I mean, like, I think about if I had to survive through some shit like that, I wouldn't be above the dirtiest of things.
Same.
Yeah. I would be I would be a very bad person. I would probably lose my soul to whatever I was doing. But you know, the conflict, you got to figure if the country that you're living in is the one that's being invaded, your kids are living there too.
Yeah.
So at what point do you pull back and be like, no, we should probably be gentlemen about this?
When they're fucking gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Or dead.
So heavy rain also played a big factor. It turned the battlefield muddy. It complicated French maneuvers. It reduced the effectiveness of the formulations. So they're slip sliding around. They're all wet. They're realizing, hey, this ain't so great. These guys aren't dying the way that they're supposed to die.
Oh, no.
They didn't.
Oh, no, my horse is asleep in the mud.
My boots, they don't work so good.
My baguette is so soggy.
My cigarettes.
What no wine?
So after several failed assaults and mounting casualties, Lorenzé ordered a retreat. The French army withdrew in disorder, abandoning the field to the Mexicans.
What a bitch.
The French lost about 500 men. The Mexican lost roughly 80 to 100 killed or wounded. Yeah. The disparity is striking. Desperate, inferior numbers and equipment. The disparity is striking. Despite inferior numbers and equipment, Mexico inflicted significantly heavier losses. Several factors explain this outcome. The forts on the elevated ground forced the French into like a really difficult uphill struggle, which they took to without using standard defenses. They're just like, fuck these assholes. Let's just go up the hill and kill them.
Some fucking hubris
bullshit. Yeah, it's like they're overly confident. Lorenzé underestimated Mexican resistance, failed to reconnoiter completely. Zaragoza was really restrained, you know, because he's got a limited force, he's got limited ammunition. It's like, also think about him as being a moderately inexperienced younger leader.
Oh,
he's just like, I'm not fucking running into the field.
Yeah, I'm not committing full fucking throated battle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, they take one of ours, we've got to take two of theirs every time. You know, like fucking, we need to use everything we can to our advantage. You know, as I've been saying, slow knife penetrates the shield. He's like, we're going to fucking chill here. And
we've got the high ground.
We're going to be patient.
Yeah.
We're going to wait for him. Like Obi-Wan waiting for Anakin.
Hell yeah. I like that.
Mexican troops were defending their homeland, you know, which is like the obvious edge. Yeah, that gave them a bit of an edge, but also like the rain and the mud hindering the French. And more than that.
Pretty cool.
That is cool. But there's something else about that I find interesting, because we talked a little bit earlier about how the Mexican forces some of them just didn't have shoes, right?
Right.
They didn't have a bunch of shit. The French had all of their shit, all of their fancy weaponry, all of their heavy woolen clothing, all of their fucking stuff, their the banners. And
right.
They're running these new like rifled cannons that they're pushing and mortars, and you know, they've got a heavy horse and all of this kind of shit. So when it starts raining in, just fucking in muddy Mexican territory that they're not used to, that alone just
muddy
fucks
mountainous
them.
terrain.
Exactly. And they're trying to go uphill, not being able to make it, being shot at on the way. And then there's the secondary, like the realization that you are fucked in the middle of a battle. Like it's talked about a lot, I think, in like military history. I think like West Point would talk about it a lot. There's a moment where everybody knows that they have to retreat. It just happens. It's like it's a singular moment where everyone in the battle's like, we're done. We're done here. You can see it in a lot of like movies, actually, like Braveheart. I think even fucking Game of Thrones, the Battle of the Bastards, if you remember that whole thing.
Yeah.
You can tell a very decisive, like somebody's got the upper hand moment.
Right. And we're not going to get it back.
Exactly. And that surge happens all at once. And the people who get the upper hand go, oh, fuck, now we win. And the other side goes, oh, fuck, now we lose.
We got to get out of here or we're dead.
It's the same thing as like playing like fucking Monopoly or some shit. There's always a moment where everyone's on the same page as to who's got the upper hand.
Where the scales tip to a point where there's no coming back.
Without a desperate struggle, you're not going to survive, right? Yeah, the morale on the Mexican side really pumped up when it started raining and really fucking dropped on the French side. And the whole victory really electrified Mexico. Zaragoza sent a really famous message to Juarez. He says, translated, "The national arms have been covered with glory."
Hell yeah.
And Zaragoza, unfortunately, would die of illness later that year, but he became a national hero.
Huh.
Now, that's a good story.
How old was he?
Zaragoza, let's take a look. Ignacio Zaragoza, famous for leading the victory at the Battle of Puebla, died in 1862 at the age of 33.
Wow.
Yeah. One of the most famous military leaders in the history of Mexico.
Super young guy.
All right. Well, he passes away. And
hey, Drew.
Hey, Drew's in the studio.
I made you some.
Drew's in the studio, the Drudio.
Drudio. I like that.
Put out your hand.
He's a little guy. Patrick made him.
I've been making him out of baby bell wax.
Love it. For me?
Yeah. I was going to leave it on your desk for you.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'll put it at the gas station.
It's really important to note that the holiday is based on this battle.
Yeah.
Not the entire occupation, because the rest of this story does not go quite as well as this.
Oh, no, I hate that.
Well, there's a reason that it's the singular battle. If you think of the 4th of July, right, what are we commemorating is the signing of something, a completion, right? Whereas you go to Cinco de Mayo, it's like, we had a real good day, that one. That was a good day for Mexico, right? So we can't like overstate the battle's immediate strategic impact. Okay. The French were defeated, but not expelled by any means. And in 1863, they returned with reinforcements of over 30,000 troops.
Holy
and they
shit.
eventually captured Mexico City. And this led to the installation of Maximilian I of Mexico as emperor, creating the Second Mexican Empire, which is a fucking dark period.
Which is a French puppet.
That is exactly that. It's exactly what Napoleon III wanted.
Mm-hmm.
It was his whole ambition. So,
now they can strip more resources.
Yeah, when we talk about Cinco de Mayo or the Battle of Puebla, we're talking the reason specifically that it is this beautiful moment and the reason that it's celebrated. It's not about the victory. It's about the spirit of it.
Sure. Sure.
The almost miracle of fighting off that defensive force.
The problem is then you go back to France.
Murder, torture, genocide, rape, yada, yada.
Well, whoever survives goes back to France and goes, we have a limitless army over here.
Right.
Comparatively.
Yes.
Now we're mad and now we're not.
Send another 30,000.
Yeah. Now we're mad and now we're not going to underestimate you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
so it's a little learning lesson. And it pisses Napoleon off.
There's no better teacher than failure.
That's true. Pisses Napoleon off because it takes fucking like 40 days or something to cross the goddamn ocean. So he's like, okay, so what? It's going to take me fucking 6 months now to get all my troops together and get all my shit.
Christ.
And then another year of conflict.
Yep.
So he's pissed off because he wants an immediate result because he's a crying little piss baby. Yeah.
Why do they not let me just take over their country?
This is fun. The regime of Maximilian I of Mexico would ultimately collapse in 1867 when the U.S. Civil War ended, allowing American pressure on France.
Hell yeah.
Right. Yeah. So the U.S. government turns around after the war and they're like, hey, what the fuck are you doing down there? Hey, asshole.
Yeah. Well, they knew the whole time. They were just kind of busy.
Yeah, exactly. But more than that, Mexican Republican forces regrouped.
Yeah.
So like they got fucked up pretty bad. They got pushed back. A new empire started, and they get pushed back to rural agrarian areas like Oaxaca and shit like that. And then they regroup in these areas, and they're like, okay, well, we did this a few years ago. Let's try it again, shall we?
You can't avoid a resistance.
Yeah. Well, the ending of that one is Maximilian was captured and executed.
Hell yeah.
So pretty short little reign for the emperor.
This is the other thing that I think is really a cool little side note of this story is that I mentioned earlier, blonde bitches being out in droves getting tacos and margaritas and
Mexico
and queso dip. Recently, we've had this sort of realignment in terms of how we think about people from Mexico.
Yeah.
Politically and socially and everything. And it's really, 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 really fucking important, again, looking at how all this history is connected, to see how fucking interconnected U.S. and Mexican history is.
I mean, desperately so.
And it makes me upset because there's so much like shit talking about Mexico and Mexicans. And it's like, brother, so much of our culture, so much of our history, so much, and vice versa, so much of their culture, so much of their history does not exist if we don't look at our two countries like basically sister countries.
Yeah.
Like we are fucking neighbors. Like there is a line that separates us. But I mean, that line is invisible. And the crossover in terms of culture and in terms of, you know, you want to get into it on a larger scale and trade and all that shit. But I mean, just in terms of friendship and over the centuries, culture, mainly, like there are so many things that don't exist if that's not our neighbor, right? If fucking Kazakhstan was our neighbor instead, if you took that whole culture and put it there centuries ago, millennia ago,
Get a little more curried goat in the mix.
there's a different thing going on. There's a different culture in this country. There's a different culture in that country. And so I think it's really cool that is how the French ended up being expelled, or their puppet government ended up being expelled, was that we said, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like, French assholes, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Because I mean, honestly, we kind of had a pretty significant debt to France per the Revolutionary War.
Yeah, but I mean, like when we talk about,
But I mean, at the same time, it's like, no, get the fuck out of here.
yeah, national debt in that context too is like, okay, yeah, we owe you a
Not even
favor,
financial debt, not
asshole.
even financial
No, just
debt,
like,
just-
you know,
just-
we owe you a favor for sure, but like,
Right.
give me a fucking break. You can't have Mexico. What the fuck?
Yeah.
We want it.
Hey, listen, and I'm sure there were people who were like, no, we want those resources.
Yeah.
Probably. But I mean, I think on a larger, just cultural scale in terms of just thought process, no, you don't fuck with our little brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's the equivalent of
Get
like,
out of here,
yeah.
scram.
What are you fucking pushing my little brother on the
my
playground?
town.
Yeah. I get to beat up on my little brother. You don't.
Yeah.
You piece of shit.
And you can't come in my room.
Stay out of here, Aiden. That's another sort of byproduct of all this. And I love that that's how this all played out, was like, yeah, we like at the end of the day, we said, no, Mexico, like we're coming to help. We're coming.
Something that makes me
come help you.
Something that makes me kind of fucking insane about like where the world is right now politically, right? Like, especially the United States. A lot of the United States is falling back on this. Like, we want it to go back to the way it used to be, like whatever the fuck that was, right? Or
But what
like,
people think it used to be is not ever what it was.
this is exactly what I'm saying. Okay, so you want to go back to some better time. Okay, we're talking about
When?
the thing that we're talking about right now happened at the same time as the American Civil War. I drove through fucking Gettysburg not 6 months ago. That shit still looks like Gettysburg. There's buildings from then there.
Yeah.
It's the same fields. There are wooden fences and shit there. Like, I mean, like obviously they've been replaced over
Sure,
time, but like
sure.
it just happened. It just fucking happened.
I mean,
You know?
honestly, yeah, not that long
You know,
ago.
we treat everything in this country like you know, everything before 1950 was 1 million years ago. It's not. It just 100 years ago, 120 years ago, that's nothing. That's one person. It's one fucking person ago.
Well, that's why I always say, like, okay, say you know somebody who's 85 years old, right? And this is kind of like my way of like fucking with the way people look at American history, at least. Say you know somebody who was 85 years old. That person was born well before civil rights.
Yeah.
Well before civil rights. Say when that person was born, there was somebody else who was 85 years old. That person was born Civil War era. Now, say when that person was born, there was somebody who was 85 years old. That person was born in the fucking Revolutionary War, around just pre-Revolutionary War. That shit puts it into a very, very, very immediate perspective of like, yeah, generations, 20, 25 years, whatever. But like 3 85-year-olds span the entirety of the history of this country.
I mean, we've got blinders on for history. It's nuts because everything that we talk
everybody
about
knows
history,
an 85-year-old.
Everybody.
My parents are 75.
My 14-year-old daughter would think that whatever I was doing in the 90s was like
Ancient history.
older than I thought my dad was doing shit in the 50s and 60s,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
like, dude, Ruby Bridges has a TikTok account.
Who's that?
That was the first girl to ever be let into an integrated school.
What?
Ruby Bridges?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, she the little black girl in the...
Yeah, she'd be in her 80s probably.
Dude, not even.
Oh, no, she was in elementary school?
Yeah.
So, yeah, 64. Say she's 10. She was born in 54. She's in her 70s. She's younger than my parents.
Ruby Bridges is 71 years old. The first African-American girl to be led into... If you've seen the imagery of her as a little kid being led into an all-white...
Yeah, so she was probably 8 years old?
Yeah.
7, 8 years old?
Yeah, she's 71. We just saw Joe Satriani kicking ass on stage. He is 69.
65.
65.
Oh, no, Joe Satriani's 69.
69, so 2 years younger than her.
Steve Vai, 65.
He's running all over fucking stage. It's like, these aren't old, decrepit people. This wasn't the past.
No.
These are people.
If anything, Joe Satriani was running around the stage more than Steve Vai, who's 4 years younger than him.
Yeah, exactly. Steve Vai walks like a spider who just took a bunch of sleeping pills.
Steve Vai, white guy.
White guy. Well, Joe Satriani?
Fucking
Italian?
probably, I don't know. He might be Italian.
Hey, Satch.
There's some Latin blood in there.
You hope.
I'll look it up right now.
It's like, I want that one. But yeah, just like the fucking the way that history is so recent is fucking bonkers.
100%.
I guess one more historical note. All right, I just want to talk a little bit about that character Maximilian the First.
Okay.
Maximilian the First of Mexico is they call him Maximilian the First of Mexico, which is silly.
Italian.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Satriani's Italian.
That's what
The Italian American from Westbury, New York.
You know, I could tell.
Hey, Joey Satriani, how you doing?
You know, I could tell.
Hey, quit playing the fucking guitar and get over here.
You know, I could tell he was Italian.
What?
He's playing a shiny golden guitar.
Hey, this fucking guitar is made out of fucking gold. Pure fucking gold.
This guitar's worth more than your fucking mother, okay?
Sounds like fucking dog shit, but look at it. Look at the motherfucker. It's fucking gold. Look, it's got a St. Christopher on the back.
I mean, like, the Joe Satriani to Steve Vai connection was funny because, like, on one hand, you got Steve Vai in leather pants playing a 3-necked guitar and sounding like Satan. And Joe Satriani's playing a gold guitar and playing like fucking.
Yeah. His shit, like,
is fun time summer music.
It was a lot more like, hey, vibes,
and then
good vibes,
we
man.
watched Steve Vai play a set where he showed a video where they killed a baby seal.
Oh my god. The video was like, it started off super
Hiroshima
innocuous. It started off super innocuous, and it's just Steve Vai as like probably a 20-something-year-old guy.
Yeah, I gotta look up that
guitar
video.
on a mountain, and
looking like fucking Boromir.
looking like
snow hitting him while he like moans in ecstasy while he's shredding his guitar, and that overcut images of fucking.
That didn't start till about halfway through the video. Then suddenly there's like images of like Vietnamese people being fucking murdered, and like And like then it's like a cut to like somebody shaking John F. Kennedy's hand, and then it's like baby seals being clubbed, and then like videos of fucking Bikini Atoll being bombed, and I'm like, oh my God, Steve Vai, way to bring down the fucking vibe in this
And then it
place.
cuts to Joe Satriani. He's like,
He's like, look at this spaceship. Look at the spaceship
He's got
on
a fun 95 like DOS spaceship screensaver playing behind him. Anyhow, okay. Maximilian the First. Neither of those guys are Mexican. Fernando Maximiliano Jose Maria de Habsburg Lorena.
the Habsburg.
De Habsburg.
He's got a German name in there?
Ferdinand Maximilian Josef Maria von Habsburg Lothringen.
Von Habsburg.
He was an Austrian archduke who became
Austrian,
emperor of the Second Mexican Empire from the 10th of April, 1964, until his execution by the Mexican Republic on 19th of June, 1867.
Yeah, they picked him because he had some European blood in there.
Yeah, he was a member of the House of Habsburg-Lorraine. It was a royal house of...
Colloquially, famed for their jaw.
famed for their
jaw.
inbreeding.
Famed for that.
But obviously, long-ranging
jutting-ass
history, which comes from inbreeding.
It does.
Which is a long history of...
Spanish and Dutch inbreeding.
A long history of monarchistic cousin fucking.
Lots of cousin fucking.
Brings us our man Maximilian. He was the younger brother of Emperor Franz Joseph I of Austria. Before
his brother cousin.
His brother cousin, who was also an emperor of Austria before Maximilian became the emperor of Mexico. Before that, he was commander-in-chief of a small imperial Austrian navy.
Descended from their uncle grandpa.
He was briefly the Austrian viceroy of Lombardy, Venetia, which is shut up. But he was removed by the emperor because he was incompetent.
Wow.
2 years before his dismissal, he briefly met with French Emperor Napoleon III in Paris, where he was approached by conservative Mexican monarchists seeking a European royal to rule Mexico. Initially, Maximilian wasn't interested. But following his dismissal as viceroy, the Mexican monarchist's plan for him was far more appealing.
Yeah. Get out of here. You're incompetent.
Maximilian,
It's okay, I'll go to Mexico.
Since Maximilian was a descendant of Charles V, who was the Holy Roman Emperor,
Oh, fucking hell.
the king of Spain when the Spaniards conquered the Aztecs, right? So, like, we're talking son of the conqueror, you know?
Yep. Going back a few hundred years, but yeah.
Yeah, he's the descendant of the first of the conquerors that
Right.
like took Mexico
Right.
and destroyed the Aztec Empire.
Right. And pilfered their fucking temples and took all the gold and brought it to Rome.
Yes, exactly. Maximilian seemed a perfect candidate for the conservatives' plans for monarchy in Mexico. Maximilian was interested in assuming the throne, but only with guarantees of French support. Mexican conservatives did not take sufficient account of Maximilian's embrace of liberalism. Maximilian failed to understand he would be viewed as a foreign outsider. So he actually was like, hey, I can help the Liberal Party when I get in there.
Hey, you guys, you should have shoes. And the conservatives were like, fuck you.
When Maximilian was first mentioned as a possible emperor of Mexico, the idea seemed far-fetched. Circumstances changed and made it viable. His tenure as emperor was just 3 years, ending with his execution by firing squad by forces of the restored republic on 19th of June, 1867.
Damn.
And that kind of like brings us to the end of the story around the Battle of Puebla.
Okay.
We could go further. Mexican history goes a lot more in both directions.
I think it's not a bad thing for us to do something like that at some point.
I mean, I think we do a lot of American history, which makes sense because we're Americans,
Yeah.
but kind of the point of the podcast is to fill the gaps in history that are...
We've done a lot of British
Yeah.
and a lot of
Yeah.
Scottish, Irish.
Let's do some more Mexico shit.
You know, we've done some Africa, a little bit of Africa.
It
We've
is
done.
fucking pouring rain outside right now. Can you
Good.
guys hear that?
Probably not.
I mean, it's louder than our new quiet air conditioner.
It is louder than our new AC.
Oh, speaking of which, shout out to all of our Patreon members for giving us money.
Yes.
We just made our first real purchase with your money, which was cocaine. And when we were high, we decided to get a new air conditioner for the
we stole a new AC. And we were so high that we came back and immediately installed it.
No, we made our first initial purchase, which was a more effective air conditioner for our studio, which is good because if you've listened to other episodes set during the summer, you just talk about how my glasses are fogging up and I'm
Yes.
sweating my dick off
Yes.
in here.
our former AC was a little too loud, and it drove Drew crazy when he would edit because he could hear it, even though you guys would probably have never noticed it. But Drew's a little autistic like that, so
He is artistic.
that's what I said. So we have new AC in here. It works so much better, and now probably Riley's glasses won't fog up. We haven't had the true test yet. We need
the hot day.
We need an August
90 degrees.
We need a Florida in August day to know exactly how well this fucker's
old
going to hold up.
96 degrees in the shade ass day and see how it's going to do.
Yeah, because today's overcast. It just started raining. We haven't had rain in a long time, so kind of like it.
And it's going to break my beach streak.
It's going to break your beach streak, but it is going to make all of the sites that I work in not fucking dustier than the Sahara.
I might fucking go to the beach anyway. Let's go in the rain. I'm going to get wet anyhow. Who gives a fuck?
That's true. Is that it for today? We doing a little, we kind of a shorty. It's a little shorty.
It's a shorty, but I mean, give me a fucking break. I think we did good.
Last week was a little longy, so
Yeah,
this can be a little shorty.
I think everybody should go out, have a nice cocktail,
Queso,
perhaps a mocktail,
some queso dip.
You know, get yourself some tacos. But you know what? If you're gonna get tacos, don't go to Taco Bell. Don't get that Tex-Mex bullshit.
No,
Get a nice corn flour tortilla. You know,
get a traditional
verde salsa.
Go get a traditional.
I'm gonna bet you there's a Mexican taco place near you somewhere.
Go get a traditional taco, corn tortilla, carne asada, cilantro, onion. That's it. Tradition. Put some salsa on it if you like. Salsa, by the way, just means sauce.
Get you a shot of mezcal.
Salsa just means sauce.
Yes, I know that.
Yeah. But you know what I'm talking about, listeners,
Anyway.
when I say salsa.
Happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody.
If you like this episode, please let us know. Get on whatever you're listening on and give us 5 stars. Leave us a rating if you're on Apple Podcasts. Leave us a comment if you're on Spotify. Check us out on Instagram. Check us out on YouTube. And join us on Patreon. I promise you'll have fun. That's my promise to you. And if you don't believe me, go on there. Patreon.com/Delete Everything Podcast. Listen to the 3 episodes that we have unlocked and see what you think. And then you'll go, oh shit, there's like 80 more.
Penne y vagina, everybody.
Man, fuck that old dumbass bitch. Bye.
Bye.
Margaritas do Chug.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da